Most of our leads in the early days came through people messaging our social media handles. So the Facebook pages, a lot of inbound requests to do branded content came through the actual Facebook page. I know a lot of traditional businesses, perhaps LinkedIn or email marketing, but in this case it was all majoritively through the Facebook page. It helped that I had quite a big Facebook page already, which was UniLad. So I had a lot of leverage to be able to promote the LADBible on back when it started.
Okay, may I ask you about UniLad? You had 1 million followers on UniLad, or 1.5 million followers actually. How did you get to that number?
It was a combination of sort of some growth hacks. So I managed to get hold of an email list for my university. So we were emailing out people to UniLad content to come to the Facebook page. We were giving away free condoms to everyone who liked the Facebook page. We had about 50,000 people actually like the Facebook page because of, and they sent me their home address for me to deliver the condoms. I actually had to go to my local sexual health clinic and get 2 industrial-sized boxes of condoms. They loved the idea. So that was incredibly successful. And things like that, things like outside of the box, things that are a little bit different to your traditional marketing strategies. They worked really well.
That's incredibly creative. Do you think email marketing still works?
I think it still works, yeah. I mean, people still check their emails, right? So I think people are getting more savvy to it. Like, you have to be incredibly creative with your copy, with your subject lines to get people to open up your email now. But absolutely, don't abandon it. Just focus. Just make sure that it's proportionate to the amount of attention that it gets now. There's so many other ways, things that people are looking at.
If you were going to start it all over again, what would you do now in 2019, 2020?
I would focus my efforts on growing the brand on platforms where people's attentions are, or it's easier to get organic growth. So I wouldn't even start on Facebook. I wouldn't start on Instagram. I would start on TikTok. I think TikTok is, like when I grew UniLad back in 2010, I said that was like buying property in London 30 years ago. It's impossible now without a significant amount of money or a huge share network to grow something for free, to grow something on Facebook now. So I'd put all of my efforts onto TikTok, grow a substantial audience on there. And once you've got that audience, then it's much easier to push them onto another platform if you want to.
In my view, for generating leads, for generating business, is honesty. Right? Whatever you want to do, show your case studies, whether you show it online, through your different media, printed media, web media, through your website, show those case studies and be completely honest. Tell where clients had problems with you and how you solve those problems. And in that way, people will trust you more. In that way, you'll get more leads, more generated. Of course, for example, we are an online company. We do a lot of digital marketing. We do a lot of social media marketing. As in, depending on where we are, we would use Facebook for that. Or depending on if we're at an event with lots of pictures, we would use Instagram for that. For articles around technology, we would use LinkedIn for that. So LinkedIn is very good for those kind of things. And Twitter for telling in advance what we are going to be doing in next month, next quarter. So in that way, we use different parts of social media for the kind of things which we're doing within our organization.
When you started out, specifically, which marketing channels did you use?
I remember getting up at 5 in the morning and you used to go for breakfast meetings. So those breakfast meetings would be 25 other unique businesses and you do some work for them. You help one business in setting up a website or doing their marketing. They're happy, then they tell others. So you're meeting those people on a weekly basis. You're building that trust with them. You're building that relationship through the success of your business. And in my view, it was a very small nominal fees to go to those breakfast clubs. But in my view, that helped in putting the right foundations for dot squares, which again comes back to the trust.
Would you do that again?
Well, that's a different kind of client set which you get over there. with breakfast meetings. Now we have come to a point where we need a lot of clients at the same time. So we do different marketing strategies for that. That's why online works really well for us.
I'll say the first thing that you need to do is to plan, because I think a lot of the times people just jump into the process without actually planning. So the first thing that you need to do is to sit down with pen and paper. It doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be a fancy software. Just sit down, think about what it is that you'd like to achieve, what are your goals, and then just work backwards from there, because I find that if you just jump straight on the channels, for example, digital marketing, social media, paid advertisement, you will not get the results you need. Find out who your customers are. Get to the core of that first before you jump into digital, as it were, or into any types of marketing, because otherwise you just find that you just waste your money. So I think planning is fundamental. Strategy is key when it comes to getting your leads in business. Knowing your customers, know their pain points, and know exactly what they want from you, and then meet them with that. Define your message, define your audience. You can't reach everyone, so just make sure that you define that from the onset before you do anything else. That's my number one tip.
And what social media channels would you consider the most useful at this stage?
Again, I think it just depends on the business that you're in, but I think once you do the plan, then look at where your customers are. I know that certainly Instagram is trending at the moment, so it has like many different features like Instagram stories, so I think utilize that, see where it leads you. In a lot of times it is testing, so go in there, see what Facebook has in store, and then obviously just use that, test that, and see where it takes you from there. Sometimes as well, it also takes you actually being generous. So for example, I do lots of free talks around social media, around digital marketing, and then off the back of that, I get clients, because as much as it's online, clients need to see that you can demonstrate what you're actually saying and that it's working for you. So I tend to go to community base. There's so many people in the communities that are just not digitally literate. So I try to support and help these people, and then from that, I just build from the ground up.
So we specialize in creating podcasts for small businesses. That's a really good way of generating interest and kind of customer loyalty and potential customer loyalty from people who want to know more about a subject. You know, people are driving more and more each day. They're having really long commutes. They're kind of busy multitasking. Podcast is something you can put into your customers' ears. They've got 20 minutes when all they focus on is what you want to talk about. As long as you've got a good hosting company, you should be able to be found on all the players. So you should be on Apple iTunes. That's the biggest place where podcast listeners are at the moment, but that's changing all of the time. You need to be on, Android, Google, Amazon. Home listening devices like Alexa and Google Play, they're all able to stream podcasts now as well. But yeah, really getting your word out. Add it to your email footer, add it to your newsletter that you send out to your customers. Make sure that every time that you're touching your customers, you're letting them know that you've got a podcast that they can listen to totally free, where they can hear expertise and advice from you that they wouldn't be able to get so easily anywhere else.
What's worked best for us is, or our best return on investment has been AdWords, Google AdWords. Yeah, without it.
How much do you spend per month on Google AdWords?
Between 7,000 and 10,000 a month.
That's quite considerable budget. If you're starting out as a new and your budget is fairly limited and you cannot afford to spend that much, do you have any other ways that you would suggest businesses go about it?
We started out with AdWords on a small budget and we've just grown it. So that's what's worked best for us. We've tried all sorts of different things, social media, but we've found that AdWords has been what's helped us grow and build our budget over everything else.
Okay, so for us, one of the biggest things we've done in the last couple of weeks is to join relevant industry associations. So we've joined some associations who are dealing with investment funds, and that's given us a platform to become a thought leader within those associations.
What are the specific associations that you joined?
We joined the Investment Association and the Association of Real Estate Funds, or we're actually looking to join that second one. So they're very much our target customer of people who are in those associations who we would like to sell to.
What other sales generation tactics have you used?
So we do the pretty generic things of online advertising. We've engaged with a B2B marketing company who are helping us do targeted campaigns into LinkedIn, some SEO work and things like this as well, but predominantly it's our own outreach. We're actually contacting with people, directly having human touch and human contact with those people to be able to tell them about the problem that we're trying to solve.
When I started out about a year back, what I did was I capitalized on my experience. So I'm a psychiatrist by background. So the first thing I did was I approached my colleagues, to make referrals to me. I approached my family and friends. That was my first step. Then I also had, I attended courses. I attended business courses where they promoted like new entrepreneurs and gave free advice. So I actually went for a couple of business mentors where they were offering free advice and courses. So I actually went there and see if I could network as well. So networking for me at events was really, really key. And the other thing what I did was, I also tried to promote myself on my social media platform. So I was offering free advice. I was offering free advice on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter. So I was trying to promote myself as well as offering something free for people so that they could get something for free. And if they wanted more, they could come to me for more courses and workshops. So that's how I did it.
Did you find these methods to be successful?
Yes. People are genuinely, if you give somebody real, genuine advice, they would appreciate it. And when I approach people and I said, look, I'm offering this, try it if it helps you. And then you don't have to buy my course. But once they said, yes, it has helped them, and then they wanted more. So when they wanted more, that's how I could generate sale for myself. Yeah.
It's hard to answer quickly, but I think there's a few key things. I think one is building your brand. And what I mean by that is really laying the foundations of being a brand that people, once they find your business on your website, on your social accounts, they know they can trust you. You look reputable, you look professional. So it's all about creating professional looking sites, great images, really pulling through customer feedback. People who have visited your site, use your products, use your service. How do you bring that forward so people who are your prospects can see that and really trust in you? Secondly, it's about really being consistent in your digital marketing approach. This doesn't mean spending money every month. It just means regularly updating your content, finding the content that works for your prospects. So using tools like Google, like Quora, finding out what real people are asking and answering those questions yourself on your website, through your blog, through videos on social media, giving people a platform to, again, know that you're the right place to come and transact and do business with. And thirdly, it's about passion. It's about bringing that small business passion where all the resource is, bringing it to life and making sure your customers can see that you're a business that knows what they're talking about, you're going to go the extra mile, and you're going to look after all of their interests.
I would use online communication platforms. Social media is key to small businesses spreading their word and getting their name out there, but we do that in conjunction with face-to-face events.